Yeah, there's kind of a lot to cover, so I'll just jump right in. So this is me. My name's Haley Gillilan. Pronouns are she, her. My job as an undergraduate student success librarian is basically just connecting undergraduates to the library, making sure that you guys know what all exists, how to use it, and also hopefully empower you guys and build your confidence in using the library. That's my email right there. So if you have any questions or are curious about anything else after this presentation, then you can go ahead and email me there. So we'll skip this part for now, but I always like to ask, um, before I get started, like, so what has been your previous experience with UVA library, or do you have any at all?
I can go ahead and start. So I haven't used the library much over my 4 years, but mainly I used it as a study space. And then when I did have assignments, I would check out a book here or there. And then I would also use the feature online where you can text email a librarian or do I think it's like on-demand library system. And so that was really helpful, especially when I was like actually in the library and I couldn't find that book, and they were like, okay, you can just go to the left a little bit more and you should be able to find that book there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I mostly use the library for like research purposes, like Virgo and the database. When I need to like find research articles for a certain project, like I just used it a couple weeks ago for my capstone.
Great.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I use it for.
Yeah, awesome. Now that basically runs the gamut, right? So I'll go over kind of the two spaces that are open this semester. We've got Clemens Library, which is more humanities, social sciences. It's mostly like seen as an undergraduate space. This is where my office is. And unfortunately, the stacks are not open this semester, but we do have brand new stacks that are pretty cool. And they're contractible, and so you're able to like kind of use like a pirate wheel and like open them up. And that's open from 10 to 6 every day as of now. Hours might change as we go throughout the semester, but any kind of changes or any questions as we go through will be found on the library website. So I'll show you guys how to get to that too. And then also Brown Library is open, Brown Science and Engineering, also known as Clark. And so if you're looking at the library website and trying to find hours for Clark Library, you won't be able to find it. It's known as Brown Library internally. That's also open every day from 10 to 6. So kind of some things up front about COVID, things that have changed this year. So make sure those two are the only spaces that are open. The main library is also under renovation, so that's not going to be open until 2023 is what we're hoping. So when you come to Clemens or Brown, make sure you use your UVA ID. If you're an upperclassman, if you're a third or fourth year, make sure that you have like the most recent version of an ID, because the way that the sensors are working, like I guess it's being pretty sensitive to the IDs that have like the etched rotunda in them is like what you need. So make sure you bring your ID so you can swipe in. Give yourself extra time. So because of strict occupancy limits this semester, you might not be able to just dip in and out if you're picking up a book. If the library is full, you might have to wait for someone to leave. As of now, we actually have not had a ton of people come through, so that hasn't been an issue so far. But as it gets colder, the tents are not as appealing to study outside. That might be something to think about. No food or drink. It's just you have to wear your mask all the time and as you're in the library, and so no food or drink to kind of cut down on that as well. There's no reservable study spaces, but there's, like I said, it's not been crowded, so there's plenty of places to sit. And then again, just to reiterate, the mask you must be worn all times at the library even if you're sitting down in a study room. So you guys have any questions about that before I move on or go over anything?
None here.
Okay, great. Okay, so some things that might have changed or kind of look split different as well in terms of checking out a book. Like I said, the stacks are not open, so everything has to be requested through the catalog or accessed online through the catalog. And I'll go through the library website in just a moment. The kind of your three options here are requesting through the catalog, checking out an ebook, and then also using HathiTrust's emergency temporary access service, which I will show you how to use that in just a moment. But basically, there's a website that we subscribe to, a database that is making a lot of our books, a lot of our collection available through this service that basically turns all of our physical copies into an e-copy. So it's a little bit different than an ebook and it looks a little different in the catalog. So that's why I kind of suss it out, but we can cover that as we go into the library website. Especially if you've used Virgo before, this will look familiar to you. But again, here's what to expect at the library. Today's hours, see Brown Clemens, and then the RMC, which is in Clemens itself. And then there's also the status dashboard that will let you know, the things that are being modified and changed through the semester, such as things like interlibrary loan, which we didn't do over the summer, but it's kind of rolling back in gradually. And then, you have this research tab that is going to get you into how to access our databases. And so, this is the part that hasn't changed at all, right? If you ever used a database or accessed a journal article through the library website, all of that is exactly the same. If you're a professor saying, I need you to do 3 peer-reviewed sources, scholarly sources, academic sources, this is the page that you're going to want to go to get all of that. And that, again, has not changed at all. But some things, like I said, have changed in Virgo. And so I always say that this looks like it's searching the website, but it is, in fact, how you get into the catalog. So does someone want to give me a search term or something, like a keyword I can throw into the catalog to look for books?
Maybe we can type in education in the early 1900s.
Okay. Interested to see how many we get. Okay, yeah, so it looks like we have 26 books that popped up for that. And then also, you can also look through articles here too. So you can click, okay, you brought up hundreds of thousands of articles there. And so that's another way to access the journal articles that we have at the library. Basically, okay, this actually kind of looks interesting too. To handle a global history of sex education. You can see, click on it, and you kind of see, do I want to read this? Yes, I do. And so you'll scroll down and look at the availability, and you will request the item here. So you can make the selection, Brown or Clemens, and then place a hold. And then that'll give you, well, this one's checked out actually. So if a book says that it's checked out, just go ahead and recall it. Kind of something that might be important to keep in mind is that faculty and staff don't have due dates. So graduate students can keep it for a full semester, undergrads for 4 weeks, but faculty can hold on to books as long as they want. And so they're holding on to books, not even thinking that someone might be waiting on them for it. So if you see that a book is checked out, go ahead and make that recall or place a hold on it. And so you'll get an email. They have 10 days if it's a recall, but if it's on the stacks, it usually takes about a day and a half right now. And so you'll get an email and it'll be brought to the desk and you can pick it up there. And that's what I think we're seeing at the library the most right now, is people just coming in, picking up their holds. Okay, we'll go back and see if we can find one that's available through HathiTrust. So you see all these are accessed online. A lot of these look like they're ebooks. Not seeing a HathiTrust one. Let's go back and just, HathiTrust has some things that are kind of old in them too. And so let's just erase education for just a moment. Okay, perfect. So women's fashions. So scroll down just like you did before and click. You can either click either online access or down here. But then you're going to want to make sure that you're signed into the UVA network. So it's going to say available, not available, item not available online. That's because I need to log in. And it'll take you through NetBadge, which I actually don't have my phone on me. So just imagine that it's taken us to a page that says check out for 1 hour. You click that button and it'll say 1 hour. Okay. Of course, I have so many tabs open. Does anyone have any questions about Virgo or anything that's changed? And kind of, as you know, like it looks a little different than it did. Like we got a new version of Virgo over the summer, so the colors and arrangement of these things might look a little different to you if you've used Virgo before. But for the most part, it's the same. I think it's a little easier to use actually now. So.
Can you talk a bit about like how to contact a librarian or use the questions feature just for first years who may not have been on the site before and may have a simple question, but they are afraid to reach out to someone or that type of scenario?
Yes, absolutely. So there's a couple different ways to get to it. There's, the pop-up chat. Here, let me go back to the homepage. You can see that there's a chat that pops out over here, or you can go to this tab, Ask a Librarian. And this is open. I believe the hours might have changed, but I think it's open as long as the library is open itself. So if you are not wanting to go to the library, or you're nervous about approaching the desk and asking a question, totally fair. You can type pretty much anything that you want to know into this chat box here. So, and we really have seen it all. So, and also not just first years use this, right? It's faculty, people that have been here for 20 years. My coworker was just saying that she saw a professor that had written like a 47-page paper, and he asked a question through this, and she like kind of stumped him with what she knew. So you don't have to be the most experienced person to use this. It can be, I'm just starting out, I need the resources, can you help me? Or it says you have this, I can't figure out how to access it. It's telling you to pay for this article. Never, ever, ever pay for an article while you're here at UVA. You pay too much tuition. Part of that tuition goes into helping the library buy these things. And so you've already paid for them, right? So never, ever buy an article. If it's prompting you to do so, that is a good time to ask this. You ask a librarian. Again, like it could be, where do I get a COVID test? Like it's not just specifically related to the library. You can ask us any question. So yeah, this is a great service. I always love showing it to students. Okay, let me see if I've covered everything here. Okay, accessibility services. So Erica wanted me to go over this really quickly. And this is a link that, here, I can put this in the chat too, if that would be helpful. But if a student ever needs a screen reader or to use the scanning services, there's plenty of information here, learning assistive technologies, all of this stuff. I was looking over it earlier today, and I do wonder if some things have changed due to equipment lending. We're not doing as much of equipment lending this semester, but if those are things that are needed, there's librarians. Lee Rocky is certainly a person. I think her email is up here for video titles, and then there's certain people to contact through here, but then I think Robert Holden would be another one. That would be good to talk to you about getting equipment and assistive technology. So, okay, that was a lot of information. But if there's any other questions or any things that I didn't cover.
This isn't really a question, but is there anything cool about the library that you think a first year want to know or should know? And is there just any additional information that you think would be cool to know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think kind of what comes to the top of my head is um, the, the purpose of an academic library is to support all the research happening on campus, right? That includes incoming first years. And so even if you don't feel like you're super experienced in your field or you're just starting out, just stepping into academia, there are people that are excited and ready to welcome you into that, and people to help you demystify these systems that are not necessarily designed for an 18-year-old in mind, coming in to all of this. And it's tricky too, because we do have so much cool stuff that I wish I could plug, but just doesn't feel right to you since it's not available as much this semester. But I guess I do want to just say that we support all kinds of information creation. We don't just consume information at the library, right? We create it as well. And any kind of research or interest that you have, even if it doesn't seem like it's academic, like, it could be about your favorite reality show, or about Meghan Markle, or trying to think what else, makeup tutorials, like all these things that maybe they don't seem scholarly or academic, like there is a place for that at the library. And like I said, we create information, and so hopefully in further semesters, we'll be able to go back to using 3D printing, virtual reality, all of our cool like sound recording. People make podcasts at the library, all of this stuff. Our special collections is still open by appointment. I'd really recommend, if a first year would be nervous to make an appointment with special collections, I would encourage them to just go out on a limb and do it. We have so much cool stuff. It's not just for, esteemed faculty. Anyone can use special collections. We have these amazing, like, tiny books that fit in the palm of your hand. We have an original copy of the Declaration of Independence. We have original manuscripts of some really, like, well-known American literature pieces. We have these like stone tablets that are ancient, all of the stuff that that research is happening right now, and our librarians are really excited to talk about it and to share it with anyone that's on grounds. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that we're excited to have you here, incoming students, and I know that things look different, but our physical spaces are open. Librarians are working just as hard. There's plenty of things to access from a distance, and it doesn't have to be scary. You can walk through the door and someone will be there to greet you. Or if not this physical space, we have emails, and would love, and Ask a Librarian and all those things. We'd love to chat with you and learn more about your research interests. So
yeah, that's a really great point. The Special Collections Library is beautiful. Anyone who hasn't been there should definitely book an appointment and check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Does anyone else have any questions, Gabby?
Do you guys have any like drop-in like office hours or anything like? You guys have like the chat function, but just in case like somebody wanted to, like a first year wanted to like pop into Zoom or something like that.
I know some of our librarians do, but not all of them. I'm definitely available to make an appointment with, but I don't have any set office hours. I know that our multimedia librarian, Josh, he has office hours, and he kind of specializes in multimedia creation and multimedia research. And so if that's something that interests you, he has office hours. And that's another good point too. We have librarians for every single department and every discipline on campus. Like, we have a media studies librarian, an education librarian, like anyone. We have lots of librarians with very specific expertise. And so if they don't have an office hour, they definitely are available by email if you have a more specific question in your study. And if you're an incoming first year that doesn't have that declared major yet, then I'm your person. So I'm, again, available by email if you have any questions regarding general education, or, I teach a lot of NWAR classes, a lot of COLAs. So I'm definitely available for any questions related to that.
And then one more thing, if you could drop your email in the chat, that would be great. I was just going to save it.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much for a great presentation. I think that there was a lot of useful information within the presentation, and I think that it will be really helpful for not only me and Gabby, but for anyone else who sees this presentation after now.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime. I love chatting with students. This is the best part of my job. So